Okay.
We should have. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
How's it going? We might be live.
Oh.
It says we're live. I believe everything is audible, like Allison's loud phone noise.
What's wrong with me?
Good morning, everybody.
There's no one in chat. I'm not sure we are live.
Well, I only just posted the link a few minutes ago.
Moms!
There's a bit of a
live!
There's a bit of a mess this morning. Sorry, everybody. Ugh, bleh,
Yeah, hi.
bleh.
Good morning.
Yeah, Windows had to do an update just spontaneously, which I still feel should not happen. It's one of the most egregious things that we allow to happen in our technology is that things can just update without us telling them they can update.
Literally nothing. There should be no technology that does anything without our permission. This is how you get the computers to kill you or whatever.
More likely, this is how you get people just surveilling you all the time.
Backdoor Productions!
Yeah. Have you not seen that name?
No, they said Allison.
Oh. Have you seen the channel? On their channel, Backdoor Productions actually does like you know, like on Rhett and Link's show, they have the other fan channel that like clips all their episodes.
Yeah.
He does that for our stuff. Like if you
No,
look at
he
his
does
channel, yeah,
not.
He has different videos that he's edited together of
What a hero.
like these streams, sketches, different stuff that he's done. I'm subscribed. I watch them when they come out.
We should promote that way more than we do. What are you doing?
I forget. It's
because he's the
occasionally
back
I'll find
door.
them. Occasionally I'll find them like really late at night. I'll just be like browsing and for some reason I'll stumble across one because I subscribed forever ago once I noticed, but I keep forgetting to tell you.
My side shave is growing out and so like mullets are trendy right now.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know, just like girls getting mullets and stuff, but I don't think they're committing nearly as hard as I am at this point. Like scraggly ramen hair in the back and then just like...
Yeah, what do you do about that? You just have to let it look like that for a while.
Just cry until it's back. Oh, and I've got it's all out of order because I just woke up. Oh, that's your coffee.
Oh, good.
Keep the peoples entertained.
Okay.
Terrible job. You're fired.
Sorry, I had something to say and I just completely blanked.
Pathetic.
Welcome to this. I woke up I'm just stressed out for no reason.
Why?
I don't know.
What happened?
Nothing.
Because I made you go to bed early?
No.
Liar.
It was fine. Like, I slept fine. Everything was good. I didn't wake up and exercise this morning. I overslept. My alarm didn't go off. I'm trying to get past I get just spontaneously stressed out now, which over nothing, and I'm trying to like fight that off. It's like a psychological thing I'm working on myself to like become a better human being, is to get rid of this random stress feeling that I get. So I'm pretty sure that I'm just like I am developing as a human being in many ways on a delay from everybody else. I don't know why it started that way, but like I didn't have my teenager phase until I was like 20. It was because I resisted so strong.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to be a teenager. I was like,
it was
from
religion.
Environmental things around me, mostly probably religious things. I like kept myself very, very. Nothing changed for 20 years. I didn't do anything rebellious. I didn't change my personality at all. I didn't change my perspective. I was the same way like 20 years. Suddenly realized I didn't have to be, and then like broke down, and then like had a weird year, and then was an adult, and then like so. I felt like I'm like slightly on like an emotional development delay from a lot of people.
Did you tweet this?
I didn't tweet it, but I did tweet it at everyone in Discord just as a reminder. I'm like, hey, you can add your okay, we're up roll if you want these notifications in the future.
You should tweet it at least on the Door Monster on once for the Christmas week at least, I think.
Okay, I think that's a good idea, yeah. We'll do an actual proper, at the very least we can do one like Merry Christmas stream, even if it's before not doing something for the whole month, I think.
Well, Autumn just said, when's the something 800 subscribers
Yeah, we
special?
hit 800 on this channel.
That's freaking dope.
That's pretty cool.
800 people.
Yeah.
I like how only 50 watch at a time. And the other 750 are just like, oh, I'll just stand here and support.
That ratio tracks.
I think it's fine.
Anyway, the point of what I was saying is that you and like everybody else I know figured out what their like their emotional problems were, or like your mental problems, right?
Yeah.
Like you figured out like your mental illness like a few years ago, and are like at this point in your life you've like come to terms with it and know how to like live with it and deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm only just now figuring out what mine is.
That's
so
true.
I'm having to like figure out how to adjust my behavior to accept my like weird neurotic perfectionism and just the random stress that just appears out of nowhere.
It's crazy how our stressors are so different.
Yo, no, yeah, I know. Like yours are like
probably good though.
death.
Like if we had the same stressors, I could see that being a really big problem. You know?
Well, people have made this joke, this very honest joke before, which is like being in a relationship is just finding someone whose mental illness is compatible with your mental illness.
That is accurate. Yeah. No, that's 100%. Let me tell you about my dream.
Okay.
I had a dream where I knew I was dreaming, but couldn't get out of the dream again.
That sucks.
Yeah, okay, so what happened was, so I was dreaming.
I wasn't thinking about it took that long for it to register.
No,
what
it's
you
okay.
said.
Autumn says, "You're a perfectionist, Kyle." I had no idea. Okay, so in my dream, so I can't really remember the lead up. All I know is that we were on some sort of opposite sides of like a war.
Okay.
Of some sort.
You
we
and
were
I
fighting
were?
each other. Yeah, we were fighting each other. But you were part of some team that was like killing people.
Oh.
And I like, okay, I have to set this up right because it's not like actual war. It wasn't like Avengers War either. It was like, for whatever reason, I have vivid images of like being at a summer camp as like I'm a counselor. And there's just like a bunch of like, we're just in this field. There's a bunch of cabins and stuff, but they're not like children. They're just, I'm at like an all adult thing. And basically like a gang war breaks out.
Okay.
But you're on the other gang side. And y'all come in and you just murder a bunch of people.
And then West Side Story happens?
I don't know what that means.
Don't worry about
But
it.
then like, I'm trying to like communicate with you and it's not working.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like get you to see what's going on. And it's not working. And you're like threatening to kill me and stuff. I'm freaking out. And I disassociate in the dream, panicking. And at some point I determined that this has to be a dream as it doesn't make any sense. I literally have an anxiety attack so hard in my dream that I decide it can't be real in the dream. And so then I start going, and because you told me this for freaking ever ago, this happens all the time now. I went to pick things up and I start reading them. I'm like reading like shampoo bottles and they make no sense.
That's really interesting that you're able to. You're much better at like retaining information when like that than other people.
I hate this so much because I picked like something up at like I don't know, like a bottle or something, and I read it and like all of the words, they're nothing. There's not a single thing. So I'm like, okay, I know I'm dreaming now. Like my brain was like, ha, I am in a dream. The problem is it didn't trigger me to wake up.
The interesting thing is what you're doing in that case is that you're dreaming about doing the dream checks. You're not consciously doing it.
No, I know!
Which is really confusing.
So I didn't wake up, and so I freak out and I go to you and I'm like, hey, I'm dreaming, try to read something. And then you're like, when I look at something it looks totally normal, and I'm like, no, it doesn't say anything. And then you believe me. So then you knock me out and throw me in a box to try to get me away from everything that's happening. And we go to a hotel. And like the whole dream is like peak anxiety because
this is how West Side Story starts.
You take me to a hotel to like hide me, and we get a room on like the 78th floor. Do you know how much anxiety that would give me? I had the most anxiety. So I'm like freaking out, like going around the hotel room, like picking things up, trying to read them to like trigger me to wake up because I'm trying really hard because I know it's a dream. And so I'm like reading a bunch of things. I read like 8 things and nothing wakes me up. And I'm like peak anxiety because the building starts swaying, because that's what I would be worried about in a 78 tall, whatever, story tall building. Yeah. And so I'm just like peak uncomfortable.
Well, it sounds like this method wouldn't work, but Prince Up says to leave dreams you can try to yeet yourself. But it sounds like you were specifically not going to ever do that.
No, like trying to kill myself?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you were afraid of being that high up in the building.
Yeah, I was just having like constant, but the whole time I'm like, I know I'm dreaming. And then something happens, like just by the grace of God, like, I don't know, I felt something, like something some sort of uncomfortable feeling happened, like something touched me and I moved all weird.
Yeah.
And the off balance woke me up.
Huh.
Like being like feeling like I was like falling or something, like moving woke me up.
You found out Ganon was jamming his little stick legs into your back.
Almost definitely. And then I woke up and I was so freaking relieved. It was the worst. It wasn't like a full-on nightmare. It was just a long anxiety. Like not an anxiety attack, but just like anxiety vibes.
I've never had this problem, but I have heard that there's lots of different layers of having issues with realizing you're dreaming, but then also not being able to actually wake up or do the lucid dreaming thing.
I hate it. It's the worst. Now, that being said, once I knew I was dreaming, it crossed my mind to explore the world that I was dreaming in, because I knew I was dreaming. So it crossed my mind once to try to figure out if I could, like, explore what was happening, because I knew, I did all the thoughts. I was like, okay, I'm dreaming.
You were so close,
so I can do anything. But the anxiety was so strong it kept me from doing anything. I just wanted to wake up. So my only mission was to do everything I could to wake up. That's what my dream was.
Interesting.
What's weird is it felt like there were hours before that even happened. I had a whole ass dream.
Yeah.
Before I realized that I needed to wake up. That's how I knew it was so scary.
Dweeb Bandit said, what if the afterlife feels like being in a dream? My philosophical theory on this is that if the afterlife exists, this feels like being in a dream. We just don't know because we're still in it. And if we dying and going to the afterlife probably feels like waking up from a dream. It's the only thing that would make sense. Less philosophically, Backdoor Productions says, I legit have a dream in my dream diary where I met Kyle Allison and Allison's dad at the Door Monster Studios, but the Door Monster Studios was also a petting zoo for lions.
Why my dad?
The best thing is nobody knows what your dad looks like, so he must have put somebody in place of your dad mentally.
That's really funny, because, like, for whatever reason, when I was reading that, I was like, that makes perfect sense. And then I was like, wait, no it doesn't. Why am I dead? No, I like that, though. That is, like their brain went for absurdism and nailed it.
True.
Like, 10 out of 10. Great idea. Autumn says, I realized I was in a dream the other day, and, like, I tried to fly because it sounded fun, but I couldn't, and it was a real letdown. I was pissed.
Flying is hard. If you realize you're dreaming, flying is, like, it's one of, like, the first things.
So, you said that I was dreaming about thinking that I was able to identify that I was dreaming, but I'm not sure you're right, because I knew I was dreaming.
It's also possible that you were kind of awake. It's a really weird line between, like, dreaming that you know you're dreaming and also actually knowing you're dreaming, because I've done both.
Yeah.
And it's very strange. And it's hard to know the difference until you've done both. Because I used to think I had lucid dreams until I had one. And I was like, oh, I was just, like, dreaming that I knew I was dreaming those other times, but it's really hard to explain how you can be aware of the difference.
I wonder if lucid dreaming is just the same thing as dreaming, but, like, relaxed.
Maybe, I don't know. Lucid dreaming feels like you're awake. Like, that's the only thing I can describe it as. If you're lucid dreaming, everything around you looks as clear as it does right now while you're awake. And that sounds like nonsense, because people would say that to me before, and I was like, there's no way that's true. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, that's really hard, because I also have extremely vivid dreams.
You do?
Like, I meet that qualification, but I'm not sure I was vivid dreaming. I could have been just dreaming about knowing that I was dreaming, but that happens a lot.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was wild. Chance says, if I realize I'm dreaming, I can concentrate hard enough to teleport and puff my cheeks out and hold my breath and fly. Yeah, so every time this has happened, it has been through anxiety. Like, I've never, like, I knew I was dreaming, and it crossed my mind for a second to try to, like, fly or do something, but the anxiety was so strong. Like, I only seem to lucid dreaming if I'm having anxiety in my sleep. And that seems to be, like, a correlating thing, is, like, or whatever the lucid dreaming or whatever it's called, like, I will have anxiety dreams, and that's the only time I've ever been like, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, because I dream that it's a dream. Right, like you're saying?
Yeah.
And it only happens if I'm having a really bad time, because my brain wants me to wake up, because I want to wake up, because the dream is bad and I don't want to be in it. So it's never been like a relaxing thing. And this is like kind of relevant to anything anyone's ever told me to do for my anxiety. They're like, take shrooms. And I'm like, no.
Right, everyone, yeah,
no, that is what my anxiety feels
right.
like. And they're like, oh, you need to smoke weed. And I'm like, again, being high is what my anxiety feels like, but like not good. And so if I did things that triggered my anxiety symptoms, I would get anxious. So I can't do those things that you want me to do to make me feel better because they feel like my anxiety.
Yeah.
Actually, if you've ever seen the movie Midsummer, that is exactly what my anxiety feels like.
You're talking about, like, the visual, like, movement, right? Not, like...
No, the whole tone. Everything about that movie feels exactly like my anxiety. But also the visuals, like, with the background moving and stuff. The flowers, like, freaking out. Like, you know those little, like, everyone figured out that Google AI thing where it, like...
Oh, it, like, pulls faces out of regular images or whatever.
100% what my anxiety feels like. And looks like. So, I ain't doing drugs. It's not happening. I wish I could, though. If I could do drugs, I would do drugs.
Autumn says, don't take shrooms if you have anxiety around it. It sounds like those will do exactly what you think they'll do, so you have to go in expecting them to do a certain thing.
Well, like, people are like, you could hallucinate, and I'm like, I do hallucinate. Why is this something I'm chasing after? This is not fun for me.
Yeah, hallucinating
already
doesn't
get
sound
this
fun
for
to
free.
me either.
Well, like, I've heard people talk about,
bothersome.
like...
Well, I have, like, relatives with schizophrenia, so, like, hallucinating doesn't sound... There was definitely a period in my life where I was, like, worried I was also going to develop it, but I, like, passed the prime years for developing it, so I'm pretty sure I won't at this point. But it sounds... I don't know, it just sounds disturbing to me. I don't like not being able to tell that. I didn't drink for most of my life because I was afraid of having any sort of, like any block between me and reality. I didn't want that at all.
My friend in high school said when he smoked, he was able to have that condition where you cross sounds and visuals, and was talking about how, like, every time he... Synesthesia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, every time he would listen to music, he would visualize colors.
That sounds kind of cool.
And that's how he tried to get me to smoke. And I was like, that sounds awesome. It won't happen to me. And so he talked about why he really liked it. Now he doesn't because he's ultra religious.
I assume that's why all of...
But if that happened to me, I would freak the fuck out. Sometimes I have anxiety because I've calmed myself so much that I'm unfamiliar with the feeling of being calm that it makes me nervous.
You're a mess.
Oh, I'm the chihuahua of humans.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing I've ever said about myself.
That's why, like the drug aesthetic is like that, like, vibrant 70s Technicolor, isn't it? Because, like, when you're on drugs... Well, I don't know. I don't do them. I don't... Like, I knew there was a reason, but I didn't know what the reason was.
Yeah, that's why. Autumn says, I can wake myself up normally by just, like, screwing my eyes shut as tight as I can and then, like, very intensely opening my eyes.
Oh.
Screwing your eyes shut.
I guess, like just, like, intentionally, like, force... It's kind of like...
When you're sleeping?
Like, it sounds like forcing a scream or something, too, probably. It's like you just... You do something so hard in the dream that you physically start doing it, too.
Sejic? Anyway, worst dream is waking up and going to work, and then at lunch you wake up and have to go to work. Then you drive in, you wake up, and it's time to get ready for work. I have had those dreams, and those are the worst.
Wait, did Alex Jones do, like, a ton of drugs? Is that why he's like that?
Oh.
Dweeb Bandit says, are you guys afraid of doing so much drugs it changes your brain, like Alex Jones or Owen Benjamin? I'm not sure who that is.
I love hearing about people's dreams, because it is just wild. Inferno says, guys, I think we wrote a Chris Nolan movie.
He already did that. That's what Inception is. It's about lucid dreaming. That's what inspired the movie.
Shit, that's a good point. I think Chris Nolan wrote a Chris Nolan movie. Krell says, my dreams are either stylish nonsense or vivid prophecies about mundane life stuff. Same? I don't know, that's a really good way to put it. Yeah, Autumn says a bad trip is basically just anxiety you can't get rid of. Oh, yeah, that's my nightmare. Aren't you guys afraid of doing too much drugs where it changes your brain?
That's what I just read.
Yeah, like Alex. Yeah. I mean, no, because I'm not doing drugs, and you're not doing drugs.
Right, I mean, no, yeah, that's steps beyond what I'm worried about. I'm worried about doing it the single time and what that would feel like.
You could do, like, LSD and turn into Alex Jones, or you could do cocaine and turn into Trump, and it's really like, well, these are both my idols, so...
Wow. Yeah.
You know Trump has cocaine brain, like, without
No, that's
fail.
a good point. I never thought about it, like, until you said, like, that distinction is a spot on, though.
The elite,
like, it was definitely, like, LSD brain and cocaine brain.
They eat cocaine for breakfast, like, I swear. Like, I don't know if people are, like, have come to terms with this, but, like, if you're rich You do so much coke. Why? Because you can.
I saw Wolf
It's
of Wall
not-
Street.
Well, that was like the 80s too, yeah,
Yeah.
so it was even worse. But like, legit, coke isn't like, they told us coke was really scary in like Dare and high school stuff, and don't get me wrong, it is. But it's like, it is food.
It's not like
amongst,
meth, like you die scary. It's more just like, like permanently alters your brain for the rest of your life scary and just
Aren't
becomes like
cocaine-
part of your
Cocaine and caffeine are
identity. I think
mildly
they are the
similar.
same type, or they have the same kind of effect or something
Yeah.
like that, but like cocaine's way worse.
Like, servers I know do cocaine. The poor ones, the poor servers do cocaine. So, like, the rich are not just like, oh, no, thank you. I would prefer to not do that. They are consuming it at a rack. You've seen pictures of famous, or not, of rich
I
people.
love the picture of Elmo with his face just down, and that's what I picture every time. I think.
There are some times where Trump says things and I'm like, that was the cocaine. Like, without
That was
failing.
the cocaine talking.
I mean, have you ever been around someone, like, on cocaine? We haven't waited tables, so no. But, like,
Inferno says Donald Trump does not drink. I had not heard that, but it's probably because he does all the cocaine instead.
Yeah, I don't...
Also, I'm not sure that's true.
I question it, but if it is true, I'm sure there's a motive behind just wanting to be sober. But servers who are on coke, like, at the time, the fucking greatest. Like, I'm not even lying. Like, there's a reason. It's not. You're not just like a miserable lump of a person with an addiction problem just because you did coke once. You were like, you're a blast to be around. So.
Well, yeah. Not all drugs. I think most people. I think like Dare programs basically told everybody that every drug is meth.
Don't do coke. Don't do coke. Don't do coke. This is not a condoning for coke.
Yeah.
Steal from Walmart. Do not do coke.
The Book of Allison.
Life advice from me.
But yeah, no, I think like every drug in school is portrayed as basically being meth, where it's like if you take like literally any drug, you just turn into a corpse, basically.
Yeah.
But they don't all do that. They all do their own devastating thing, but it's like it's different kinds of devastating things that they do to you.
Yeah.
If you do enough of them, it's not all the same.
Yeah.
Inferno says don't do Coke, do Pepsi instead. Greg Miller technically said it first.
It's actually been so long since I've gotten mad about Pepsi. And I like, every time someone re-says the word, I can taste it in my mouth. And I like, remember how it tastes like half of my medication drugs from when I had cancer.
I'm going to completely change the subject.
How dare you? It was just getting good.
I saw this morning another big yellow rectangle filled with black text, and I was like, that's weird. Cyberpunk's already out. What could this say? And I zoomed in on it, and they're offering refunds for people who bought it on last generation consoles thinking it was going to be the way they showed it to be when they were advertising the game. But got what people got instead.
I feel so bad for Cyberpunk. I don't normally...
I feel bad for some of the people involved with Cyberpunk. Some of the people messed up, clearly.
The
executives and the marketing teams definitely have.
I don't feel
messed
bad for the
up.
excessive rich part of Cyberpunk.
I feel
really bad for the people.
developers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Well,
just
because
sucks.
also half the thing was like, we're working up till Christmas, and after Christmas we're going to keep working. We have 2 patches coming out. It's going to be fine. All I could think of was the entire time was like those poor developers for the next 2 months. That like they're still not done. They still have to keep going on it.
I did get on the Gamer Girl subreddit to see. So I had a bunch of complaints about Cyberpunk.
Disclaimer: we have not played far enough into it to see the actual story of the game. We started
That's
playing
true.
it. We got let through the character creation, kind of saw how it ran on the computer we're running it on, and like we don't have real criticisms on the gameplay yet because we haven't actually been able to do it ourselves.
We have to ban Inferno.
Why?
He
What did
literally
do?
texted me a picture of him watching the stream holding a Pepsi. Where are our mods? Get rid of this trash. Don't really, but do it. But don't. But also. But. Yeah, so I was complaining about playing Cyberpunk. And I had relative complaints. The only person who's actually played at the same time was John, though, and John and I have never agreed on a single thing in our entire lives. So that didn't land. But then I was telling Kyle all my complaints, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, the I think it's called Girl Gamers, because Gamer Girls has a whole stigma around it." So it was the Girl Gamer subreddit, and they also had they talked in length about the ethical work strategies, the unethical work strategies that the development team had to go through. Which I hadn't even
heard about on this one. I mean, I've heard about it in general. I
just like that you immediately go to like, I wonder what the girls are saying, and they're like, I care deeply about the ethical practices of how the game was created. And I'm like, thank you! But they also had a lot of the same complaints I did, which is that I hate when like I buy into the male marketing. They're like extremely customizable genital creation, and I'm like, whoa! But they only have one vagina, and I'm like, okay. They weren't even kind of talking to me. They did not once try to talk to women. Right. They advertise exclusively to men, and I'm like, I'm a woman. I'm gonna buy Cyberpunk.
Well, and then when it comes
vagina.
To the general character creation was I don't know if the marketing made it seem like the character creation was super in depth and that's why I thought it was going to be, or if I just made that assumption by accident myself.
Yeah.
But it was much more limited than I thought it was going to be. Like I wanted to come see you do the character creation. I was like, this is okay. I mean, it's not bad, but it's like there's just like a few options, and there's no sliders or anything. It's not like Sims baseline. If you hyped up your character creator, it better at least be like Sims level.
Well, okay, so I feel differently because Sims is only about character creation. So.
I mean, it should be more.
It should more than
feel
Skyrim.
More like Sims. It should be more than Skyrim.
You can be like fat. You can't be fat in Skyrim, but you can be really skinny or like.
It should be more than
bigger.
Making a Khajiit in Skyrim, which is what that kind of felt like. Where it was like.
Yeah, that's
most of the options felt very similar.
Yeah, so I was extremely put off by the way that like it wasn't even like if there had been no advertisement, I would have been like, wow, this is a pretty great game, but. I'm mad because they specifically didn't even once try to advertise to me, a human girl who also wants to.
I saw it referred to as a dude bro game, and I was like, that's a good way to put it. It's like there's nothing bad. It's just like, but it's definitely like it definitely is like dude bro. It's definitely like
one of the first missions you do. I think it's like the introduction mission or something. Is you have to like rescue a naked girl from an ice bath, and like. Snore. Right. How many games have I played where I have to where I have to rescue naked victimized women? How
From
many
ice,
times?
specifically. Actually, that is a trope of the genre too. Like it's just like a thing. Like frozen naked woman is like a thing in dystopian cyberpunk futures.
To this game's credit, extremely detailed nipples. If I cannot also masturbate to the game that I'm playing, what is even the point? Why would it exist if I cannot also sexually enjoy the game that I'm playing with a naked half-dead woman? What's the point?
Yep.
Zelda?
I have no argument
No.
with that. Cedric made a good point too, I think, which is he says part of it is the genre and focus on transhumanism opens the conversation to body modification, customization above and beyond industry standards, so it's more noticeable that it's missing, which I think is a good point. I guess that's kind of like that's kind of what I was hoping, what I was feeling. I was like, because they showed all the video of like with all the random like bits like installed into your face and stuff, and like they had like a section of like I don't know what they called it, but like electronic modifications. Yeah. There was like 6.
Yeah.
There wasn't even that many. It was like different like face patterns, essentially tattoos.
Yeah.
And then there were all the different eye things. Those were kind of cool, but
they were okay. They weren't even like aesthetic.
Yeah,
it was just weird.
So we you and I it started off on kind of a down note because I was like, I thought this was going to be more detailed than this, but all right, I'll see how the game plays. It's probably
YouTube
fine.
angry. Okay. Started on kind of a down note.
Oh yeah, just because I was expecting more out of the character creator.
Yeah.
I guess. I am really curious to see how the rest of it plays.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll save it, but I'm curious. I want to at least see.
Peyj. What is that?
Where are you seeing
Page?
Oh, that's the name. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, another way I've seen it described is a lot of cyber and very little punk. I was actually kind of thinking the opposite. It's a lot of punk and very little cyber. In the one, I started off on the Street Kid track, and I don't know if those are actually different.
Yeah.
But legitimately, like, it's just Grand Theft Auto skinned, like, the game. It's just like,
Well, not even, because Grand
gonna-
Theft Auto has a specific feel to the gameplay that I like better than the way this one feels, actually. This one felt much more... So
You've played Grand Theft Auto?
I've seen it played, and I've played similar ones. Watch Dogs is a like tech-focused Grand Theft Auto reskin. Yeah. And I liked that. That was actually fun. But this one felt much more like Deus Ex to me, which I'll have to show you a bit of it. But it's a very old Square Enix made cyberpunk game.
Yeah.
That felt very similar, but it was like multiple console generations ago.
Yeah.
So like I expected this one to feel a little bit more, I don't know, just fluid, I guess. It just felt a little bit clunky. I don't know. It sounds like they've been having a lot of problems, and now they're at the point where they're offering the opportunity for refunds now, which I thought was interesting.
Inferno says one thing to remember is that the game had literally 7 years of hype surrounding it, so literally no one is going to be happy with the end product.
People gotta stop doing that.
To be fair, it didn't for me. I had no idea it had been, like, until I looked into it, like, a month before it came out, didn't know.
On you in particular, I mean, your opinion isn't really going to change, but, like, the overall, like the widespread problem that's happening is because it was, like, hyped up to be this amazing game, and then people are comparing that to what was advertised, and this has happened so many times. Like, this isn't a new thing. Yeah. This happens all the time, and people don't learn.
I'm honestly just mad that, like, they didn't even make it a game that I, as a woman, could play, like, reasonably. Like, they just didn't care.
Yeah.
They were just like, women? Who knows them? Not a thing.
Didn't have, like, women on the writing staff or anything, which is...
I bet you could probably just...
a decision, I guess, but,
you could probably just look up the genital stuff on, like, YouTube or whatever. It's not, like, a big deal or anything.
Well, sorry, it's not just the genitals we're talking about. It's just the general vibe of the game.
It's just a good example of how they didn't consider anything else other than one primary male audience.
I wasn't wanting to argue with you. I was just wanting to elaborate on what you were...
Well, then don't interrupt me when I'm talking.
Sorry.
But no, like, it's just a good example of exactly how... they knew who they wanted to aim at, and they only made the game for those people. So rip me in what I want. I never get anything.
Allison actually didn't know anything about that. I bought the game and gave it to her to play for me, because I didn't have time. Because that's how that works here. Yeah. So Allison actually just didn't know anything about I didn't know anything about it either. I just occasionally saw stuff on Reddit, and Allison knew even less than I did. Yeah. Cedric says CD Red as a publisher feels very male-focused, in my opinion, more so than most of the industry. That's also possible. I never played Witcher. It also gets hyped up as, like, one of the best games ever. I've never played Witcher because, and I've talked about this directly on stream because it's been recommended to us, which is I will probably play it at some point, but I think every game should have an option to play as a woman. At this point in time, yeah. I mean, that should just be something people do. It's not like women aren't playing games. And I know that women have different standards. They're like, yeah, I can play a 40-year-old dad character and totally relate to the storyline and stuff. I can't. Well, yeah. Asterisk, not every game. Like, if you're telling a very specific story, then maybe, like, one character can work. But, like, for the most part, depends on who you are. The Witcher, if it's a high fantasy, open world exploration kind of game, let me pick a character to some degree, at least, that I can relate to, you know? Well, I feel like male-dominated storylines about extremely masculine men are not unique, and even if the gameplay is great and the story is good, it's been done a billion times, and I, as a woman who has existed at the same amount of time that other men on this earth have, do not get equivalent games that I get to play with female leads and really great storyline. And it's the same rule for movies. Like, it doesn't make a bad game. It's just like the floor is so low. Right, yeah. And no one will just do that extra step above it to make sure that other people can enjoy the game and have it be relatable. It is a very low bar. Like, it's just really it's not asking for that much. I completely agree from a male perspective also. I think I told you and I mentioned it briefly when we were talking about it before, but like I was like I don't know who they're selling that vibe of a game to exactly. Cyberpunk or Witcher? Cyberpunk mostly. I haven't played Witcher, so I don't really know what the vibe of it is. But like the really hyper masculine, like gritty, like big I'm playing a Fast and Furious character feel to most video games. Yeah. Like the male option is that. The male option is like actor from Fast and Furious, and I, as a man, actually don't connect with that. Like, I can never play like some like skinny nerd, right? That's never an option. In Cyberpunk Character Creator, I don't get to make a guy who looks like me, even though I am a male and there are male options. I actually still don't get that either.
Right.
And it always feels weird. I never feel connected to the person I'm playing. It's a very specific look. I'm not that way. Nobody in my life is that way. I'm just not surrounded by the kind of guy who talks gritty and threatens gangsters and has a giant chiseled jaw.
You don't know any super hot, extra buff 40-year-old dads with gravel in their throat?
Princess says like 11-year-old boy. Honestly, like Nintendo protagonists, way easier for me to get behind. Much more relatable.
Which one?
Like, I think Princess might have been responding to me. He says like 11-year-old boys. Or wait, I actually don't know. That probably wasn't related to what I was saying. It reminded me that Nintendo properties have... like Zelda is like Elfchild is much more relatable to me than Vin Diesel, which is usually what I'm playing in American games.
I love Zelda games because Link is so gender neutral. Like, I get that he is literally a boy, but his existence and his designs have always been exceptionally, and his storylines are they're never like gender heavy.
Right, it feels just like an agendered cartoon. Like,
right,
it's not...
I mean, he's a young child boy with like long blonde hair in a dress most of the time. No one's like, Zelda has never been a problem.
Mario, doesn't feel like a man at all.
Kind of do the same thing. Like, Mario also feels pretty ungendered. Like, he's literally gendered, but it's not reliant on playing the game.
Right.
But then you have, like, Witcher, which I think is like a dad. Maybe he's hunting for his daughter. I don't know, but it's like, this is not for me.
Again, it's one of those things, it's the same thing as, like, women in movies, where it's like, if you hyper-focus on an individual game, it's like, this is probably okay as an isolated incident, and then you zoom out and it's like, oh, it's all like this.
Yeah.
There just aren't a whole lot of other options still.
Corrupted Muse says, you can still have... I don't know if he's asking or if he's making a point, but you can still have character development without a set gender of the main character. And I don't know if that's a question or not. But I agree with...
You can exclusively... Yes. Yeah, they have nothing to do with each other. Character development comes with decision-making. So whether it's in a movie and you're watching a character make decisions, or it's you and you're making the decisions...
Can't you do this in, like, Fable and Skyrim and everything?
Comes from. Yeah, Fable is like all over the place with how you look. The way you look and the gender you are, and you can have horns growing out of your head and crap. It doesn't affect anything. It's like it's all aesthetics.
Yeah. So that's my opinion, which is just, and as chat knows this, I feel like my opinion is the floor, which is like women, just women. That's all. And then people are like, no. And you were talking about this the other day, which is even in Cyberpunk, I'm playing as a woman who I make look like myself purely on principle, and then I trash that game and make an actual cool-looking character. Every time I get a game with customizable characters, first I make me, then I play the game, then I go, this sucks, and then I make someone awesome, and then I play the game, and it's usually a little bit better. But even as a female character in Cyberpunk, it doesn't. There is no...
It doesn't feel like you're playing a woman.
It feels like I'm playing a man.
Yeah, it does feel like you're playing a man.
That's why I rescued a naked chick immediately.
Right, yeah.
Because that's
what men
would like to do.
We've talked about like the problems with like the badass woman trope basically just being female variant of man before. But, but again, same thing. Had it been a man, I still wouldn't have connected to that character either, because it's just a weird kind of...
Oh, okay. Corrupted Muse was responding to Inferno's thing. I do like Corrupted Muse just says, Link is pretty hot. Depends on the game, but yeah. Easily. Was it Twilight Princess, where he was just like a freaking anime stunner? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
There's one where they just they really went ham on Link, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Excuse me. And you didn't have to.
So Cyberpunk clearly was made to be... There is the film genre of Cyberpunk feels the way that the game does.
Wow, everyone's here. Right? Corrupted Muse, Puffle Master.
Like, you and I also watched... Thomas showed us Dread recently.
Oh,
same
my
thing.
God.
I have the same problems with that movie. I just don't like that tone.
Me neither.
Some people do. And it's like, again, it's like, it's okay if that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
But you're limiting your audience by making it off of, like... The genre is inherently... dude bro, you know? So, like, if you don't modify it in any way, or you don't let up on some of it, or make it more inclusive, then it's just inherently going to be the same thing, and you're going to lose half of that potential audience, too.
Yeah.
Which is, like, just from a marketing perspective, like, make some better decisions to have more people buy your game, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't see why that's such a a problem. I used to think that there are certain genres and vibes that I just don't like and can't connect to, and the thing that actually changed my mind on that is What We Do in the Shadows, which Matt introduces to. I could not care less about vampires or anything vampire related. I don't like I don't care about vampire lore. I don't like the vibe of vampire things. It always feels gross to me.
Yeah.
I freaking love that show so much.
Yeah.
And it's hard to translate that to a game because it's like it's different storytelling techniques that make that work in a show than that would make it work in a game.
I kind of agree and disagree. There's a game called Alice that came out forever ago. It was like dark gothic murder Alice. Alice in Wonderland.
Okay. I remember seeing the game cover.
I loved that game. It had some of the funnest gameplay and some of the greatest visuals, and I was not all about like the
you hate like the Tim Burton-y kind of vibe.
I don't like Tim Burton.
Should seem to me.
Which is weird because I actually do like occasionally like dark gothic aesthetic and stuff, but this game was like it was that game. I think you would actually really like that game too. It had like Nintendo Kingdom Hearts vibes in the gameplay and the character decisions and all that kind of stuff, but the theme of it was like gothic, gritty, spooky stuff. But it was actually so fun to play, and I played it because the main character was a tiny, pale female with dark hair, and I was like, me? Someone cares about me?
It's true.
They even changed. That game was successful, and they took a character who is already previously identified as looking a certain way, changed it to look exactly opposite.
That's true.
And still made a good game, and everyone knew who the character was. So you can actually change the way a character looks and exists, and you can still buy into the whole storyline.
It's really interesting that like games where you play as, I mean, obviously games where you can choose, but games where you play as a woman, the story has nothing to do with you being a woman. It's still perfectly easy to play and relate to that character. But there's so many games where when you play as a man, it's really important that you're a man. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like there's a lot of games where you play as a man where it's like that game is a masculine game, but there are very few games where you play as a woman where it's like specifically important that you are female in that game, or that it makes it like hard to relate if you're not.
Yeah. I don't know what's exactly happening, but it sounds like Inferno has a bad take, which isn't surprising. He brought Pepsi to the show. Nalivai, maybe, I don't know, says Witcher was male-centric because it was specifically about one pre-existing character, Geralt, who had 7 books about him. Getting the same shit with Cyberpunk is unacceptable.
Oh, the character existed before the game?
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I actually didn't know that. Okay, so see, again, like, that provides an example of like, okay, sure, maybe having a character selection in that one doesn't make as much sense if you're making it about that person.
It's kind of the idea is like it's the same excuse, which is that I know everyone wants to excuse the individual thing, but as you talk about, like as you zoom out,
again, yeah, like individual's okay, but you zoom out and everything is the same.
It's the same excuse of like you can't have women in a war movie, and it's like I understand that point. It's bad because everyone keeps making war movies. They keep making movies exclusively without women. But no one, like, women didn't not exist. No one's just writing stories about the women that existed during the war times.
It's just a misunderstanding of the problem.
Right, okay, yeah.
It's like, there aren't enough women in movies, and they're like, well, this movie shouldn't have women. It's like, that's a different conversation. Like, that isn't the issue. Like, I think I made the comparison before, but it's like, it's the whole proverb of the no one raindrop causes the flood kind of thing.
I think I said it wrong. Gerald.
Yeah, I think it's Geralt. I think that's how I've heard
Gerald.
Ian pronounce it as Geralt.
Geralt.
I don't know if that's right either.
Back to Cyberpunk. I was only going to say, like, my official review ended with Cyberpunk, which is that the character creation and gameplay is beat out by Skyrim. The science fiction story elements and cool new additions to actual gameplay are beat out by Horizon Zero Dawn. And the car-driving, world-building, gross, gritty, I live in a trash city and everything sucks is beat out by Grand Theft Auto.
That's true.
So if you play and own those 3 games, you will get Cyberpunk different. Now, if you really wanted all 3 of those into one game, but less good than all of the games that originally had it, you're going to like Cyberpunk.
Well, you know what? Sometimes I do. Occasionally that happens. Yeah,
I think it's totally valid. I've also never played Grand Theft Auto because I have...
I haven't actually played it either.
Like, the only reason I know about Grand Theft Auto is because I'm pretty sure you can, like, rape women in the game.
At this point in history, literally no one plays Grand Theft Auto for the story of Grand Theft Auto. No one gives it. You play it so you can ramp cars off of things and, like...
I did not play Grand Theft Auto because of the people who told me they played Grand Theft Auto.
That's entirely fair.
People were like, oh, I love Grand Theft Auto, and I'm like, okay, that's cool.
I didn't know if apparently somebody brought up Mulan.
Oh, yeah?
They brought it up as an example to you can 100% have women in a war movie.
I'm saying.
The Weed Bandit asked, was the remake even good? I don't think anyone saw it.
What happened?
The live action remake of Mulan. I think Disney shot themselves in the foot just over and over the entire time they made that movie.
Yeah, there were a couple issues. There were people who don't like China, which...
Nice.
Fair,
the entire thing, they clearly made it to appeal to an overseas market selling it in China instead of the American audience that liked the original movie.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened and China couldn't go out and see movies anymore. And then they put it on Disney Plus. And just no one, they just removed everything
They took out all the stuff that we wanted.
Ricky says everyone saw it. Ricky, you seeing something doesn't mean everybody saw it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Ian
I know
and Rachel,
you saw it.
Oh, okay. Ian, Rachel, and Ricky saw it, and that's the only people I know who actually...
They did watch it because they had, I think one of them, I think Rachel's mom bought it on Disney Plus or something.
The reason I know nobody saw it is because someone was
talking. Oh, right, that was the other thing. They put it on Disney Plus, but you had to pay for it on top of having the subscription to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So it was
I have a subject change now.
Okay.
I'm now posting things on Twitter. I'm posting screenshots of on my Twitter of Facebook desperately trying to figure out how to advertise to me. It is a blast.
Are you on Facebook still?
I occasionally get on Facebook to see what other people are doing, but I haven't posted on Facebook in a trillion years. But no, I'll go on Facebook like occasionally because Google and stuff, and you know the marketing algorithm is special. But yesterday I got butt incense.
What?
Butt incense.
I don't know what that could possibly mean.
It was exceptionally unclear. So I posted that on Twitter because I don't know.
I missed this tweet.
And to be fair, the advertisement was actually for someone else. Like, they don't think I smell bad. They wanted me to give it to someone else who smells bad.
Wait, again, what is this? Is it incense you put near your butt? Is it like...
The picture I shared that was showing up on my Facebook was two people like it was two people doing yoga, but they were like bent at the hip, but they were like in like you bend down and so now you're face to face with someone else's butt. That's the picture. And she's just looking at the camera like, ugh. What? And then it's like, butt incense. Do you think so, like, I mean, to be fair, there is exactly one way that everyone pictures this immediately, which is like putting incense in your butt and lighting it on fire. However, I don't think you can sell that product. At all. Yeah. Seems dangerous. But I don't know what it is otherwise. And then today, Facebook wanted to advertise that I could buy an entire square foot in Scotland.
Oh.
They said, want to buy a square foot of land in Scotland? And I'm like, that one actually...
How much is it? I mean, I would like to buy multiple square feet of land in Scotland. What is the going rate?
It said, become a lord.
What?
Anyway, so I posted that on Twitter.
Oh, can you, like, buy a title? I do want to do that.
No, you can buy a square foot of land.
Right, but I assume it's for the...
It's Facebook advertising, so it's exceptionally unclear.
That's true. Ricky says, have you ever turned off all of ad preferences? You can do that on Facebook and then enjoy the ride.
I might be doing that soon, actually. But no, I can't. I can't because
randomized ads.
Today it was deodorant. So Facebook thinks I smell horrendous. And like I'm not mad about it. Quarantine is rough. We're all doing poorly. But yeah, no, they think I smell just horrendous, so
Chris Mew says, I saw Instagram ads on the subway last month. What demographic are they targeting? Like ads for Instagram for people who don't know what Instagram is.
Yeah, I Anyway, that's the new game I'm playing with Facebook is what will you advertise to me today?
That's pretty great.
Yeah, so that's been exciting.
Ricky, are you streaming today? I was thinking we'd go over
Ricky
a little bit
every day.
because we started late. We started like 10 minutes late, so I was going to go a little bit longer.
We have to. Sorry.
Normally I don't go longer. If we're like 5 minutes late, I don't worry about it, but we were like 15 minutes late by the time we started, I think.
Papa Master says, that's been a weird trend where I've seen inappropriate ads for fully normal things.
Yeah.
In the deodorant ad, there's like a whole 2 minutes where she's sitting in a subway like this, and there is a guy who's just like enjoying his face being this close to her armpit. He is aimed like
That's
this.
like some anime crap.
He's aimed. I took a picture so I could show you. But yeah, it's just a dude who's like, he's right here and her armpit is here, and he is having a blast. And that's the advertisement. But she needs deodorant. She does not smell good yet. That's the point, is like smelly on the subway, and so I'm like, okay. So I don't know if they're trying to sell me deodorant or like get me hooked on a new fetish or something, but I'm not buying either. I might actually buy the deodorant. It was kind of a good advertisement. I'm not gonna lie. It was a relatively decent advertisement. Oh,
It's gotta be so like the
Look at this. Look at this. I wish I could show you. This guy is just...
I love the I don't stink real big at the bottom.
Yeah, no, Facebook is really trying to tell me something. I wish they wouldn't. I didn't ask for their opinion, but here we are. So, that's all.
I had a thought and I forgot what it was.
Sorry. I squashed it with my Facebook bullshit.
It may have been an ad thing, but I don't remember what it was gonna be. Ugh. Yeah.
Corrupted says Ricky needs to remember to use the Twitch roll. So, Muse is like...
Muse is our Discord guy.
No, Muse is one of my favorite, I don't know Muse like personally. I've met him like a few times, but I don't know his whole life or anything. All I know is that in my head, it's a trope of a person who gets like mad about literally nothing except people who can't do basic technology things. And it's one of my favorite, like, it's a great D&D character kind of design. I've thought about this before, which is someone who's like chill all the time, but then just like super mad if you can't like do one basic like technology thing, you know, like
yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good example. Well, because I can't do any technology thing, so I just don't tell Muse about it, because I'm a die. But just like I'm trying to think of a good... Well, so like the ad rolls things on Discord or whatever.
Yeah.
I still have no idea how to do... And I think it's because Muse builds these beautiful, intricate systems so that everyone can use something in a more simple fashion.
He's like, I made this as easy as possible for you, and you're still messing it up.
And so I just like hide under the table when he starts talking about things. I have no idea what Twitch rolls. I don't know what that is even a little bit.
I think Ricky, because I did this with OK We're Up a lot. I think he's posting using @here instead of @Twitch, which is like a thing that people can assign themselves a role so that they can be notified specifically of that thing, which is what we have our OK We're Up one, which I use now to notify people, so I don't ping the entire server every single time.
Says no, that's pretty accurate. It's one of my favorite concepts of a human that I haven't
I didn't
met
know
before.
the difference between all and here on Discord until this year.
I still don't.
I was using all pings everybody and gives them a notification even if they're not logged into Discord.
Oh, okay.
So like when
what
they come back, here is just people who are actively, it's open on their computer and they are here to see it when it posts.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What is everybody?
That's what I said. Everybody will get the notification even if they're not logged into
everybody?
Discord. Oh, that's what I meant, I guess.
Is that not a thing, or is that all?
I don't remember. No, it's everyone, because every time I try to post that, your name shows up,
Autumn
which
says,
is annoying.
No, Allison, we know you can't use technology. So I used to think I was really tech savvy, because no one else did, like back in 2000...
Yeah.
Something.
The totem pole just goes much higher than you ever expected.
I was really good. I was actually very good with technology, and then I got surpassed like rapidly. Before I knew what Reddit was, I was great with technology, and then I worked at a credit union, and every time I touched the fax machine, it broke. And I don't mean like it just was being testy or anything. Like the whole damn thing broke, and we had to call someone else out, like to fix the fax machine as I was like messing with it.
Yeah.
And the guy who fixes the fax machine hates my guts. I do everything. You put the thing on, you hit the scan, and you hit the send button. That's all I ever did. But every time I did anything on that fax machine, it broke like bad, like technical breaking on the inside. And I only touched it like 5 times, and I worked there for a year. And then my trust in technology dwindled out, and now I am exclusively bad with technology. So I just don't do it anymore. I don't bother. But I used to be really good with it, I promise.
I think I have the average level of technology of people within my like social circles, which is basically just I had to figure out how to fix games. That was pretty much it. It was like the game wouldn't run, so I had to learn just enough tech stuff to make the game run, and that was pretty much it. And then I've learned a little bit more because now I do like CGI stuff, so I had to learn some extra things to go along with that. But I still am not like I have to relook up how to assemble a computer every time I want to make a new computer.
Muse is probably one of the funniest people. Speaking of, still haven't done that, Ricky. Get on it. Don't anger Muse! Again, it's very... Like, literally, as soon as technology comes up, I just, like, hide, because I know Muse is gonna, school someone. I love it. Every time.
Very suspicious of printers. I've had the same printer for, like, 10 years because it just works. I've never bought, like, a newer, better printer because you never know. You just never know what's gonna happen. The one I have works. I will have it until it dies because it functions every time, and I don't have to question whether or not it's going to work.
It seems like a printer is such a basic concept that we should have down as like one of the easiest, most convenient forms of technology, but we know we don't because like I don't know if it's the ink or the printer business is a total scam.
I think the other thing is, from what I hear, laser printers are like at least doubly as reliable, but they're also like at least twice as expensive, if not more. They're really expensive to get a decent laser
because they were bullied by the ink printer business.
Right.
Like, it's such a horrifying monopoly of scams that you can't even get a normal. We don't even have normal regular printers that are like $3 trillion. They won't even make them. They can't. we could have a very simple, easy form of printer technology, and it won't happen because ink people have ruined everything.
Ink people.
I don't know if it's ink or printers.
I found a box of ink for $40 on Amazon 2 years ago that I'm still using. I don't know if it was a fluke. I haven't had to check again. I don't know if I found the secret to getting around ink prices or if it was just a complete accident. Yeah. But I haven't had to buy printer ink in like 2 years. It's been amazing.
Squid Plays Game says me and the boys like printers.
It's just because Squid Ink, like, that's what I was getting from that. I don't know if that's...
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
The Inferno says, Austin McConnell did a great video about why printers are a scam. I think everyone watched the same video on why printers are a scam.
Maybe.
It went super, super viral.
I don't think I've seen a video. I just know how the stupid ink thing works.
Big ink ruined printers. That's it. That's it.
It is literally, I think it is still the most expensive liquid on the planet. Like price per ounce, I think it's more expensive than oil still.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
I'm so mad that lobsters are expensive.
Oh, all of seafood is so weird to me because it's like it definitely was all trash food at one point that just got co-opted by rich people and then made into this big fancy thing.
Screw rich people, they ruin everything.
Like sea bugs were not considered fancy when people first started eating them. There's no way.
Sea bugs?
Yeah.
Shrimp?
Yeah, shrimp, lobsters, anything like that. Like sea crawly bugs. Things that you pull out of the ocean were definitely all poor people
Lobsters
food.
were prison food.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they were literally prison food.
Yeah. Now it's extremely expensive to buy seafood laced with plastic.
Ricky, are you streaming or not? Wait, no, he said he was, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. Twitch came up, so I assume he is. This is gonna end in like 3 minutes. Go check out Ricky's stream after this is over.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's leaving right now.
What is he streaming?
Go ahead and send us to push the button. We got 3 minutes left in our time. I just realized I haven't been able to hear our pretty music the entire time. It's playing, I haven't. Yeah, I forgot to turn the speaker on.
I'm gonna dye my hair red pretty soon, so say goodbye to the literal crunchy ramen hair that I have today. I know you'll all miss it.
What now? I gotta figure out a video to throw you in with that hair.
The red hair?
Video per hair, yeah, because we got you with this hair for the.
Oh yeah.
For the. Whatever.
This is how I keep myself relevant on Door Monster. I just keep dyeing my hair in hopes that Kyle will put me in videos.
That's how you started out, was just wigs.
It's true.
Just how many times can we sneak Allison into a video?
I actually do not want to be in any videos. I put on 20 pounds over quarantine, and I am not interested in announcing it like I just did. I'm not interested in announcing it visually. So,
Bitestorm says, push the button, you never have to buy ink again, but you have to extract ink from octopi. That's so much worse. No, I'm not going to push. That's why they get away with it. It's because then I don't have to make my own ink.
Depends how easy is it to get an octopi? There's a way that this could work.
Adam said you could play any superhero love interest. That's a good point.
What does that mean?
They're all redheads. It's like Mary Jane.
Wow,
Pepper Potts
there is
definitely
literally
one.
nothing about superheroes that did not derive from fetishes, is there? Not a single thing. Not one thing about any woman that exists in superhero land that is not directly correlated to someone's fetish.
No, that's what happens when you leave men in the 50s alone to write and draw comic books.
Men in the 50s are the worst. Get them gone. We have a couple push the buttons.
Hey, Puffle Master's back. Hey.
Whoa!
Ink costs half as much as it does now, but seafood costs twice as much. Oh, damn. I definitely use seafood more than I use printer ink, I think, so I'm not sure I'd push that one.
But we
either.
don't use printer ink because it's expensive.
I'm not sure the things I print would increase if the price decreased, honestly.
That's also true. Like, most people have gotten around needing printers. We just sort
Especially
of send
now.
everything.
Right, we don't do
because
hard copies nearly as much. Now it's all digital, so like it's becoming less and less important to
lawyers might
be
feel
able to
differently, actually.
Maybe. The lawyers
but we're not
also have the
lawyers.
money to afford seafood, so I don't think their opinions count.
Depends on the lawyer. Lawyers are $150,000 in debt.
That's true. It depends
Anyway,
on when that lawyer went to
Probably
school.
not. I do eat more shrimp than I print things, so it was a good thought experiment, though. I like how all the push the buttons are about ink.
Yeah. They're usually about the last thing we talked about.
Backdoor Production says, push the button. You can always wake up from a dream you don't like, but the trigger is corrupted muse screaming at you about how you failed at various technical simplicities.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. Again, this
only
is my
makes the dream
favorite
better.
thing about Muse. I was not criticizing him. This could you imagine if we had a corrupted Muse alarm clock, which was just text from him telling us how we fucked up doing something on Discord? I live for this.
That would be pretty great. All right, thank you guys for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and call it there. We'll be back tomorrow morning.
Yeah, probably.
And I want to talk about Christmas movies. I had that planned for today. We talked about a bunch of other stuff.
Okay, yeah.
We'll be back with that if I remember that. If I don't, remind us in the chat because we'll be half asleep.
Merry Chrysler.
Merry Christmas. See you guys later. Bye.